The night was silent, too silent for a city that never slept. Only the sound of rain crushing against the marble street echoed through the darkness somewhere in the heart of Seoul. Behind the dark black gates of a mansion guarded like a fortress stood jungkook, the name everyone feared, the mafia king. He was a man of few words, a man whose eyes spoke the la language of death. No one dared look him in the eye unless they were ready to face their end. He did not believe in love, mercy, or forgiveness. His heart was made of ice, and he liked it that way until you. He was everything. He was not so selfless. For a flight, you met him not because you wanted to, but because fate tied your family's child to his empire. Your father had borrowed money from the wrong man, and that man was Jungkook. You stood trembling in front of him that evening when his man dragged you into his office. The scent of expensive whiskey filled the air, and the sound of his boots echoed as he circled you slowly like a predator studying his face. So this is the girl who thinks she can escape a mafia touch. He imagined his voice cold as metal. I did not know. You whispered, your voice trembling. I will pray it back. I promise you. He signified a cruel smile curving his lips. He leaned closer, his breath brushing your ear. Your father's gone, and you, sweetheart, just became his replacement. You flinched. What do you mean? She will work for me until the debt is gone. That was the night your fate was sealed. Days turns into weeks. You served coffee to his men, cleaned your study, helped the mirrors, and tried your best to stay invisible. But no one could remain invisible around Jungkook. He noticed everything, especially your silence. You did not talk back like others did. You did not beg for mercy. You simply did your work. I sludge, and somehow that made him hate you even more. He could not understand why your presence disturbed his peace, why your soft voice lingering in his mind long after you left the room. He was cold, heartless, unbreakable, but the way you looked at him like you saw a person instead of a monster made him precious. Stop looking at me like that. He snapped one night when you brought him tea. You blinked like what? Like I am human. You froze, your lips parted, but you said nothing. He turned away, gripping his glass tighter as if your gaze had burned through his armor. But behind all that hate, he began to feel something unfamiliar, something dangerous. The following weeks inside Jungkook's mansion felt like living inside a storm that never ended. His presence was like thunder, loud, unreticable, and impossible to ignore. You tried to keep your distance, but every time you passed by his office, his dark eyes seemed to follow you. He never smiled, never softened, never said a word that was not laced with command. Yet sometimes, when he thought no one was watching, you catch glimpses of something else, the faintest flicker of pain behind that cold expressions. You once walked into his study late at night to leave some files on his desk. The door was slightly open, and you saw him standing by the window, shirt sleeves rolled up, a gun resting on the table beside him. His head trembled, he stared at a photograph on old one. A little boy with bright eyes and a woman who looked like him, his mother, maybe before you could turn away. His voice broke the silence. What are you doing here? You flinched. I came to leave these files. He did not move, did not look back. Get out. You left quickly, but your heart ached for reasons you could not explain. That night you could not sleep. You kept seeing that broken boy trapped inside a man everyone feared. You wanted to hate him for being cruel, but your heart refused. Instead, he whispered, "Yes, searching too." The next morning, one of his men shoved you while you were cleaning. Watch it. He barked. You stumbled and dropped the glass you were holding. It shattered across the marble floor, slicing your palm. Blood dripped, and you hissed in pain before you could pick up the pieces. A deep voice thundered from behind. Who did that? It was Jungkook. His man immediately went pale. Boss I Jungkook didn't let him finish. He grabbed the man by the collar, slammed him against the wall, and growled, "Touch her again, and I will break you myself." Everyone froze. He stood there, clutching her bleeding hands. He turned toward you, eyes softened for just a second. You see, he pulled out a small first aid box from him and knelt before you. His cold fingers brushed your palm as the cleansed wound. You hissed slightly when the and he looked up straight into your eyes. "Stop moving," he muttered. "You don't have to," I said. "Stop moving." His tone was sharp, but there was something protective in it. For the first time, you saw care beneath the frost. His gaze leaned a little too long, the thumb, his thumb brushing over your wrist unconsciously. "Why do you care?" you whispered softly. He froze, then he stood abruptly, pushing the box away. "Don't misunderstand. I don't." And just like that, the wall was back up again. That night, as he poured himself a drink, his mind betrayed him, replaying the image of your eyes looking at him with that soft concern no one had ever given him. "Damn it," he muttered through the glass across the room. He hated you for making him feel alive again. He hated that your presence stirred warmth inside a heart that had been frozen for years. But most of all, he hated that he could not stop thinking about you. The days that followed were uneasy. Jungkook had become quieter, more distant, as if fighting a war within himself. You notice how his gaze lingered when you entered the room, how his tone softened ever so slightly when he gave you orders. Something was changing, but in his word, change was dangerous. One evening, Jungkook was in a meeting with his men, maps, blueprints, and guns scattered across the long table. You were just outside serving coffee as usual when you overheard one of the men whispering, "Boss is getting weak ever since that girl came." Yeah, another replied, "We might all die if he keeps getting distressed." You froze, the cup in your hand shook slightly. You did not mean to. He was jokes, but the words hit deep. Suddenly a gunshot shattered the tension. The man fell silent as Jungkook lowered his gun, smoke rising from the barrel. He had shot right next to the man's ear, the bullet embedding into the wall. "Anyone who questioned my control," Jungkook said coldly, "can live in a coffin." You gasped sleepily, your heart racing, but then Jungkook's eyes met yours across the room, and for the first time you saw something in them, fear, not for himself, but for you. Later that night, you were walking down the corridor when someone grabbed your arm from behind. You grasped it was Jayoung, one of Jungkook's rival gang members who had infiltrated the mansion disguised as a guard. "Screen and I will slit your throat," he says, pressing a knife to your side. You tremble, tears forming in your eyes. "Please don't. You think the Mafia King leaves you?" He sneered. "Let's see how much he bleeds you." He dragged you toward the bag exit, but before he could push you into the car, a gunshot range out. Jaehyung's close by, blood splattering across his shoulder. You turn to see Jungkook standing in the rain, eyes burning like fire, gun aimed steady. Touch towards mine again, Jungkook scroll, walking closer, and I will make sure you beg for that. He fired again, that time into the ground beside Daeyoung's face. The man screamed and ran, leaving you shaking in the rain. Jungkook grabbed your wrist, pulling you close, his voice sharp but trembling. Are you insane? I did not know you could have died. You looked up to him, your tears mixing with the rain. Why do you care, Jungkook? He froze again, his jaw tightened. He wanted to say I don't, but the words refused to come out. Instead, he just pulled you into his chest, his hand resting at the back of your head. Because I can't lose you too, he whispered against your hair, your breath hitched too. Far you could ask, he stepped back, expression hardening again. Go inside, don't ever leave the mansion again without my permission. You nodded slightly, heart pounding. That night, Jungkook sat alone in his office, the storm outside matching the chest in his mind. He stared at the small look he kept hidden in his drawer, a picture of his mother and his little brother, both gone murdered by the same man who had now come after you know he muttered, his fist clenched around the photo. Not her, I won't lose her too. For the first time in years, the cold hearted Mafia King felt fear, the fear of losing someone he did not even believe he could love. The rain had not stopped for 2 days. Jungkook had not stopped either. Since the attack, he had doubled the security around the mansion. Every man who betrayed him had been hunted down, but still something inside him felt wrong, uneasy. Then the call comes, boss, it's Ryan. What about her? Jungkook barked, incensely standing. She's gone. Someone took her. For a moment, everything inside him went still, like his heart forgot how to beat. Then came the rangefinder. He slammed his fist against the wall so hard that his knuckles. You woke up in a dark warehouse tied to a chair, a gag over your mouth. The air smelled of oil and smoke. Giants stood in the front of you, but smiling clearly. You thought he had protected you forever, did not you? You shook your head depressedly, tears rolling down your cheeks. He ruined my life. He continued, so I will rule his. Slowly he lifted his gun, pressing the barrel. You whimpered, your body shaking. Then a gunshot cracked the air, but it was not meant for you. Jae Young's froze, eyes wide, as he looked down at his shoulder, blood gusting out. He collapsed to his knee. And there he was, Jungkook. His eyes were wide, his jaw clenched, his whole body trembled with fury and fear. He strode toward you, ripping the ropes from your wrists. Are you hurt? He breathed, voice breaking. You shook your head weakly, tears still streaming. I thought I had lost you, he whispered, his forehead resting against yours. You could feel his heart pounding against your chest. Why would you care? You sobbed. You said you hated me. He looked at you, then truly looked, and for the first time the walls inside his shattered. I hated what you made me feel, he said quietly, because I did not think I deserved it. You blinked through your tears, deserved for love. Your bad taste, he cupped your face, his cold fingers trembling. All my life I thought love made people weak, that it destroyed everything good, but when I almost love you, I realized it's the only thing that makes me human. Your tears fell freely now, his thumbs brushed them away, his voice raw and shaking. I was going to kill you once. You froze that night. Your father stepped fast too. I wanted to end everything that tied me to emotion, but when you looked at me, I could not pull the trigger. He laughed bitterly, his voice breaking. You made the monster fall in love, Ryan. You reached out and held his hand, the one still bleeding from the fight. You are not a monster, Jungkook, you whispered. You're just someone who forget how to be loved. His breath gasped for the first time in years. The mafia king, the cold, and untouchable Jungkook broke. He pulled you into his arms and held you like the world was ending. His grip was desperate, his heart pounding against your chest. I'm sorry, he murmured over and over, his voice cracking. I'm sorry for every tear, every word, every moment I made you afraid. You closed your eyes, whispering back, then don't say sorry, just stay. And he did, he stayed, his lips brushing your forehead, the rain outside turning into a quiet drizzling. Days later, the mansion felt different. The walls, once filled with fear and silence, now echoed with laughter. Jungkook had changed the way his surely he still ran the empire, still ruled with power, but the ice in his heart had begun to melt. You'll find him standing by the garden, something watching you water the flowers, his expression soft in way no one else ever saw. One morning, as you set breakfast on the table, he walked over and wrapped his arm around you from behind. You know, he murmured against your neck, you make it very hard to stay cold. You laughed softly, turning to face him. That's the point. He smiled, brushing a strong of hair from your face. You are dangerous, Ryan, more dangerous than a mafia king. You tease to my heart, he said quietly. Yes, he kissed you then slow, deep, and full of everything he never said before. And for once, he was not the mafia king. He was not a monster or a man made of stone. He was just Jungkook, the man who almost killed the woman he loved and now would spend the rest of his life protecting her. Months later, the rain fell again, but this time it did not sound lonely. You and Jungkook stood by the window, his hand around yours, watching the city lights blur through the drops. It's raining again, you whispered. Yeah, he said softly, kissing your temple, but it does not hurt anymore. You smile. That's because you are not alone anymore. He looked at you, really looked, and for the first time, the cold hearted Mafia King smiled. No, he whispered, I am not. And with that, he pulled you closer. The rain outside, fading beneath the warmth between you, proved that even the coldest heart can lean to love once they find someone willing to stay. The end.